This side, come along. So you go back. So when you get the model, the Chachma bin Adas, and you say, my whole life is Chachma bin Adas. L'chaim, Rabbi say, I told you last time the story, I l'chaim, you l'chaim. Remember the story, Ajo Yuju?
I don't remember any stories.
Oh, we said, Moshe, you made l'chaim, Moshe? It was Remendel Futterfass. Remendel Futterfass. Remendel Futterfass used to go put on film. He was Lubavitch Chassid. He used to go around. Chaim Hill. Chaim Hill.
I'll see you Shabbos.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking forward.
Thank
That
you,
ball's
Hill.
going to wear off by then, so we're going to need more.
Thank you, Hill, for all the joy and all the connection that you give us.
So we wrote it on the group, but like the Chaver should know, like the reason that song happened was because of the group.
Okay.
The first time I met Hoodie was at the first hangout we had on the porch.
Oh yeah?
I wasn't even part of the group that night.
Okay.
Hoodie said, he's like, oh, you'll come meet me.
Yes, it's history.
I got added that night. The rest
The song is epic.
Thank you.
Gewalt.
It's huge.
Hello.
Leave us the guitar and we'll bring it to you.
Yeah, I have a guitar over there. Take my guitar.
I don't play. I just want to leave
And I'm missing a string, so if you have one that has.
It's another
No, it's amazing to see you. Every time.
He used to go around and he used to put on film. And one of the Bachman on Chabad also used to go around putting on film. But not everybody used to want to put on. It was very hard to get a fit. He was ready to be caught. The Mendel came out of Russia and he was in England. And every guy we went to put on film. He said, how could it be? So he followed him. And he watched how he went over to people. And he didn't know a word of English. He was a Russian. And he used to go over to this proper English fellow. And he used to look at him, he used to look him in the eye. And he used to say, I Jew. You Jew. I tefillin. You tefillin. And everybody put on tefillin. So I'm saying that I Jew, you Jew. I l'chaim, you l'chaim.
Kulanu him.
I Jew, you Jew. I l'chaim, you l'chaim. That's the secret. So come along, Srili, Mamash Gewalt. I'm taking tremendous inspiration from you, Srili. Tremendous inspiration. So the story of Chachma ben Adas is everybody's story, right? We all Chachma ben Adas. And that's the story that we spoke about before. Of the chassid from the Maggid. He only came to Das because he went through Bina. He had to go through a life of Bina. And we also said that the end Das is when Mashiach comes is going to be Das. So we always have to wonder, how is Mashiach born? How is Mashiach come into the world? So if you look at the story of these twins, of Zerach and Peretz and Zorach, you say, where did they come from? What's their story? There's a story behind them. You know what their story is? Just read the story. They had a mother. Their mother's name was Tamar. Okay? This Tamar was married to two guys. Both of them, these two guys were Yehuda's children. Okay, so Yehuda had two kids. Yehuda Anasi, but it's Yehuda Melech, where the seed of Mashiach comes from. Came from Yehuda. Yehuda had two children. Both of them, the Torah says that Shichazara, that they were Shichazara. That's who Yehuda's children were. Oinan, Eir v'Oinan. And the Torah says that they were Rabbi in Hashem. Hashem took them away. And Tamar, she was this holy woman, and she was married not once, twice, to two guys who didn't want her to have children. Right? They didn't want her to have children. They didn't want to have the children. That Rashi says that they used to withdraw before the Zerah came out, and they spilled it to the ground. The kid said on Oinon for sure it says that because he didn't want the Hakam Zerah La'achiv. He didn't want his brother to have. He didn't want to give children to his brother's name. But the bottom line is the whole Indian of Zerah Levatara, the whole Indian comes from this parasha. The story of Eid Va'onon. But b'chol they were Rabbi in Hashem, and they didn't want to produce children. They just wanted to enjoy life, just for the enjoyment purposes. They didn't want enjoyment to actually produce something. They didn't want tanugim, and they didn't want connection to be for a purpose. They just wanted it to be for the purpose itself. Tainug l'shem tainug. Just chachma l'shem chachma. They just wanted the chachma. They didn't want the chachma to be going through a bina to come out into a das. They just wanted kabara kamavrik. They just wanted orgasms. They just wanted chachma. They just wanted psh. They wanted wow. But the bina part of having to struggle and go through months and months and months of struggle till you get to das, they said that's not for me. I don't want that. So Yehuda was one of the Shvatim. She gave birth to 2 children, who they said what we all say. To me on the lamppost, they all said what we say. We say, I just want to enjoy life. I don't want the responsibilities. I don't want to go through the struggles. I don't want to go through the difficulties. I just want it to be good now.
Keep chilling.
I want what?
I want to chill.
I want to chill. I want to chill, and I want to chill forever. I want to be high, and I want to stay high. And if I'm going to go low, I'm going to fight that low by becoming high again. I'm going to run away from being low. I'm going to do everything in my power never to be low in my life. And I'm just going to find ways how I can experience pleasure, even spiritual pleasure. But I'm going to be on that side of the fence. And at the end it says, the Rabbi in Hashem, and God says, if I wanted you to have chachma for l'shem chachma, if I wanted you to be in an orgasmic world totally, constantly, then I would keep you up with me. And I put you down there, put you here for a reason. So then Tamar, she gets it. And she says, there's something wrong over here. Something has to be fixed. Something got to be fixed over here. There's a screw missing in this universe. So she says, I'm going to fix this with the source. I'm going to go take it up with Yehuda. So she takes it up with Yehuda and she dresses up like a Zaina. And she stands be'einayim. She stands be'einayim.
What does that mean, be'einayim?
Einayim is the name of a place in the Torah. Einayim is a trip. It's a double word. Einayim was the name of a place, and Einayim also means eyes, but she stands be'einayim. She stands in the space in Einayim. And she's wearing a tze'if, and she's covered, and Yehuda goes by, and he doesn't know that it's his daughter-in-law. And he doesn't know that the reason why she's doing it is because he didn't want to give her Sheila, he didn't want to give her the next son. Didn't want to give her Sheila Sheila was the next son? What was the name? Sheila. He didn't want to give the Beis Mikdash Sheila. Mashiach, we'll get there. He didn't want to give him Sheila.
We're still in the pole line.
We're still somewhere in the middle. in the beginning of the middle. In the epilogue.
Okay.
So anyway, he didn't want to give Sheila. So she goes and she seduces him. And at the end, Yehuda is now stuck in the greatest dilemma of his life. Why? Because she takes from him the chesemes, she takes his seal, she takes the psil, and she takes his mata, she takes his staff.
Talk about daughter-in-laws.
She takes every signature that he's worth, she takes it away from him. And then when the moment comes, and they come to Yehuda, and Yehuda is this Sheni Yid, Yehuda is the Melech, and they say, hey, Zonso Tamar Kalasecha. They say, hey, your daughter-in-law is Haral is Nuna. She's starting to live the life of pleasure. She's only living the life of pleasure. She's not here to schwitz. She's not here to have a relationship, to get married, and to schwitz it out. She's here just to have experience, L'Shem experience. She's not here for the real deal. And Yehuda says, no, we can't have society that way. We gotta tisadef. It's Tetziel Lisadef. We gotta kill her. So they bring her out and they want to burn her. And she says, maybe you recognize. What was she saying? She was saying, maybe you recognize who's looking for a life of pleasure. Who's looking to beat the system? Who's looking to avoid taking responsibility? Who's the one who's trying to get out of going through Bina to Das? Who's here Chachma for Chachma? And Yehuda looks at it and she says, Tzadka Mimeni. Yeah. Tzadka Mimeni. She's right.
Huge.
Tzadka. She says, Haken no. Recognize whose signature is on this trip or on this mindset to just live for pleasure's terms. Who? Hello, who is it? And he says, it's not coming, man. Yeah, she's right. Why was she right? So he says, because I didn't want to give her Shayla Bani. I didn't want to give her my son Shayla. And he realized then, I didn't want to give her Shayla. Shayla is the Beis HaMikdash, is Shayla. Shayla is Shiloh. Is the Beis HaMikdash, is Mashiach. He says, I didn't want to give the Messiah. I didn't want to give Das into the world. I wasn't ready to go through that struggle and pain. And then she has 2 children who are born. And what are those 2 children? The synopsis and the epitome and the essence of the universe. And that child was born, which encompassed the entire story of everything that Yehuda and Tamar went through. And his story was, there was a hand sticking out, and he said, hey, I'm free! Woo! Life is good! And then he said, no. Sorry, my friend. Achi, come back. We gave you inspiration, but now it's Bina. Now it's time to Shvit. Now it's Peretz time. Faratzta. Let's see if you can break out. And then comes Zarach. And then suddenly, Mashiach was born. You know when Mashiach was born? When people realized that I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to have inspiration in my life, I'm going to have highs, but then the highs are going to disappear. I'm going to have a long 9 months of struggles, and it's not going to be easy. And I'm going to have my stepmother sitting me on the edge of the table, and she's going to give me the last portion of food, and she's going to beat me up. And I'm going to be traumatized and abused, and I'm going to have a life of hell. But in the end, I'm going to break free from that. That's going to force me to rewire my mind until I come to a place of Zadach. And then I'm going to shine, and then I'm going to be Das. And then I'm going to be Mashiach. Mashiach is when the Chochmah and the Bina produce a system that in this universe, in this world, there's Geula, but it's here. It's not a magical world, it's a world where you become magical. It's not a magical world where things happen to you, you get things, you get services, you get a lot of pleasure. It's a world where you become magical. And you know how to deal with things. And you know how to overcome, and you know how to take it on. Until you push it through, until the end. And you accept life on life's terms. You accept the world the way it is. And you accept that I'm good. But it's okay that I'm struggling, because that's the way it was meant to be. Now I just want to come along one more trip. The Chassidic master said that the Hikim Sholish Chadashim, the whole story of Zarach, the whole story of Peretz, the whole story of the Hikim Sholish Chadashim, it was like 3 months. And the Basayan, the Holy Basayan says that those 3 months, the story of Tamar, was it says the Hikim Sholish Chadashim was 3 months after he met Tamar. About 3 months later, they came to him, they said, hey, Zansa Tamar Kalasecha. So the Holy Basayan went on a deep journey on this pasuk, and he said it was like 3 months after Rosh Hashanah, which is Chanukah time. V'hikim shalosh chodashim. And it's about Chanukah time when it's in the deep depths of the winter, you know, it's like when it starts getting cold. And the snow's coming down, and it's about 3 months in after Rosh Hashanah, and you lost your inspiration.
The Shoresh Habbasim.
The Shoresh Habbasim, and it's basically the inspiration of Rosh Hashanah is gone. It's long gone. You forgot there was a sukkah. You forgot all the mashki you drank on some chestayda. You forgot, it's all gone. It's long gone. And then they come to Yehuda and they say, Damsa, Zinsa Tamar Kalasecha. Tamar is Damsa Kasamar, Yidden. They said the Yiddelech Tamar. She was Zansa, she became Fagref. She went back into the place where she's only looking for Chachma, and she only wants to have pleasure, and she only wants gratification, and she's not ready to shitz anymore. And Yehuda says, you're right. She's ready, Tisaref. And then she comes, and she says, Haken no. Said the Holy Basayan, now listen to the deepest Torah of all time. Haken no l'miach chesemes v'psilim v'amata. So the Basayan says, chesemes is the chesemes of the Kohen Gadol, which is on the Pachach Shel Shema, there's a chesemes of the Kohen Gadol. Psilim is the wick. And Mata is he says with the koil, whatever is begematria keli. That means that's the jug, a little jug of oil. So Tama comes and she cries and she says, Haker no, could you please recognize who has a jug of oil? Who has a light that's still burning? That even though all the pachim, and even though timu kol hashmanim, and there was no jug that was left whole, and it was all tameh. But you know what tameh means? The life was removed from it. You reach that point in life where you don't care anymore. Where you say, just give me some pleasure. Just let me stay high. I have no strength to struggle anymore. Life is whatever it is. It is what it is, and I'm going to make the best of it right now, and I'm just going to find a way to enjoy life in the moment, this second. I'm not going to schwitz anymore. I'm done, I'm gone, I'm finished. And at that moment, Tamar comes and says, but don't you remember who still searches deep within, that even when it's timul kol hashmanim, and even when you're a world when you're only looking for chachma, there's still something that has chesemes and has a psil and has a mata. There's still epis, a pach echad that's still burning. There's still a ratzon that I want to be connected to you, Hashem. Who searches for that? And then Hashem says, Tzadka mimani. She's right, because I didn't give her sheiloi. I didn't give her the vision of the redemption. That's what the Basayan goes on. Basayan is Basayan is buried in Tzvas. The Basayan is one of the Batayan. The Holy Batayan. One of the greatest Chassidic masters, the Holy Batayan. So that's the title of the Basayan. But what it means for us, B'Pul Mamish, is that when it comes Chanukah, we have to know Chanukah is the story of our life. It's the story where you make peace with the fact, I want pleasure. I only want Chachma. And in the dead of the winter, when the Shabbosim are short and there's no inspiration, I don't want to go through Bina. I don't want to struggle. And in that moment, in that place, we have Kehikim Shalosh Chadashim, where we say, let me tell you how Mashiach is going to be born. He's only going to be born from people who want Chachma, who don't want Bina, who want to give up. It's dark, there's no inspiration, and Afal Piken, in that space and in that place where they just say life is not worth living, they say Abadach. But still something tells me I want you, Hashem. And when I go into that space where I say I want you, Hashem, Afal Piken, and I'm not going to give up, even though it doesn't make sense, and even though I'm worthless, and even though I'm plugged out, I'm an unplugged machine, there's no electricity, but still I want, that's when Mashiach is born.
Wow, Chaim.
Mashiach is das.
Mashiach brings the death, yeah. Mashiach is the death.
So our whole life is one trip of Chachma being das.
Exactly.
It starts like that and then it just cycles through.
Exactly. It means we're in constant a loop. We're in an eternal cycle.
The first night.
Can I make
Yes.
a demonstration?
Oh, so I'm not up to the first night yet.
Okay. I'm waiting.
No, this is the Akdama for
We
the
have
first
next.
night. Can I... Where do you put my coin? I want to chap a cigar. I'm coming back.
What? I'm working here.